MrBeast made $85 million in 2025. That is not a typo. One creator, 1 year, more money than most companies generate. But here's what nobody's talking about. The gap between number 1 and number 50 on this list reveals something broken about how we understand digital success. These numbers will change how you think about content creation forever. Let's start at the top. MrBeast sits alone at 85 million, and that isolation matters. The distance between him and second place is larger than most creators on this list will make in their entire careers. He is not just winning, he is playing a different game entirely. Every video is a production budget that rivals television shows. Every challenge involves giving away amounts of money that could buy houses. This is not content creation anymore. It is spectacle manufacturing at industrial scale. Dhar comes in second with $56 million. Think about that drop. $29 million separates first from second place. Dhar built an empire on morality tales, simple stories with obvious lessons, churned out with factory efficiency. Multiple videos per week, each one following the same formula. You see someone making bad choices. Consequences arrive, lesson learned, roll credits. It works because it's predictable. Parents let kids watch it. The algorithm loves consistency. But here's the fascinating part. His content costs a fraction of what MrBeast spends, yet the earnings gap is massive. Production value doesn't directly translate to revenue at this level. Jake Paul and Matt Rife tie at $50 million. That tie is more interesting than it appears. Jake Paul built his fortune on controversy, boxing matches, and maintaining relevance through chaos. Matt Rife exploded through comedy specials and crowdwork clips that dominated social feeds. Completely different paths, identical outcomes. One thrives on outrage, the other on charm. Both understood the same truth. Personality sells better than Polish. Rhett and Link, at $36 million, represent the old guard still winning. They started on YouTube before most creators even knew what a camera was. Good mythical morning became a daily ritual for millions. What separates them is not innovation. It is consistency measured in years, not months. They showed up every single day and built trust that compounds like interest. Brands pay premium rates for that kind of reliable audience connection. Kaji, at $35 million, is 9 years old. Read that again. A child in elementary school made $35 million reviewing toys and doing science experiments. His parents turned his natural curiosity into a media empire. Ryan's world expanded beyond YouTube into retail products, television shows, and licensing deals. The earnings do not come from ad revenue alone. They come from turning a personality into a brand that exists everywhere children look. Alex Cooper earned $32 million with Call Her Daddy, proving podcasts are not just audio anymore. She understood something crucial. Controversial conversations drive clips, clips drive discovery, and discovery drives sponsorships. Her Spotify deal alone changed podcast economics. Markiplier matches her at $32 million through gaming content and authentic connection. He cries on camera, shares struggles, and makes audiences feel like friends rather than viewers. Authenticity, at that subscriber scale, becomes its own moat. Stephen Bartlett cracks the top 10 at $29 million as the only UK creator in this range. The Diary of a CEO became required listening for entrepreneurs. He interviews billionaires, extracts insights, and packages wisdom into clips that flood LinkedIn and Instagram. His approach differs from typical podcasters. Every episode is designed for dissection, built to create dozens of shareable moments. One interview generates weeks of content across platforms. Mark Rober rounds out the top 10 with $25 million. He is a former NASA engineer turned creator, and he specializes in elaborate experiments and revenge pranks. His videos take months to produce. One video about glitter bombs for package thieves got more views than some television series. Quality over quantity works when each piece of content is an event people wait for, rather than scroll past. The gap between 10 and 20 reveals something crucial. Charli D'Amelio at $23.5 million, Ms. Rachel at $23 million, Rebecca Zamolo at $22 million. These creators proved different formulas still work. Charli rode TikTok's wave better than anyone, then diversified into traditional media. Ms. Rachel teaches toddlers through songs. She receives messages from parents saying she helped their children speak. Rebecca Zamolo builds elaborate mystery series that turn casual viewers into invested fans following multi-video storylines. Now watch what happens in the middle tier. Khaby, Stokes twins, and IShowSpeed all tie at 20 million. Khaby does not speak in most videos. He just reacts to overcomplicated life hacks with obvious solutions. His silence became his signature, translating across every language. The Stokes twins built a prank and challenge channel that feels like early YouTube nostalgia. IShowSpeed screams at video games and runs unpredictable, loud game streams. 3 completely different approaches. Identical earnings. The platform rewards engagement, not methodology. Jacksepticeye, $18 million. Typical Gamer, $17 million. Adam W., $16.5 million. These names might not be household names outside digital spaces. Their bank accounts rival those of celebrities. They found niches, served them relentlessly, and built businesses disguised as channels. Gaming, reactions, and commentary. The content type matters less than the consistency of showing up and the authenticity of connection. The 20 through 30 range tells a different story. These creators aren't just making content. They're building empires across platforms. Dixie D'Amelio, 14.6, Druski, 14, and Dani Austin, 13.6. They understood the assignment. YouTube alone is not enough anymore. TikTok for discovery, Instagram for community, YouTube for revenue, podcasts for depth. Multi-platform presence multiplies earning potential exponentially. Nickmercs earns $13 million. Brent, Rivera, and Jordan the Stallion earn $11 million each. Gaming, lifestyle, and commentary on celebrity real estate. The diversity of content types making similar money proves there is no single path. The algorithm does not care what you make. It cares whether people watch until the end and whether they return tomorrow. Logan Paul appears at just 10 million, tied with Nick DiGiovanni and Marques Brownlee. Logan's boxing and business ventures dwarf his content earnings, but he is still here. Nick makes cooking accessible and impressive simultaneously. Marques reviews tech with production quality that makes Apple's own videos look rushed. 3 completely different value propositions, same tier. What connects everyone from 1st to 30th position? They didn't follow trends, they created them. But the next 20 creators reveal something even more important about how digital success actually scales. The 31st through 50th positions shift the narrative entirely. These creators aren't pulling 8-figure checks, but they are earning more than most doctors, lawyers, and executives will see in their careers. And they are doing it by talking into cameras. Cenat drops in at $9.8 million. His streaming marathon sessions break records, keeping audiences locked in for hours. Valkyrie, at $9.5 million, proves gaming is not just for the guys. She built a community that shows up not just for gameplay, but for personality. Pokimane, at $9 million, faces constant scrutiny, but she maintains earnings that justify every criticism thrown her way. The platform rewards presence, and she has mastered being consistently there. Then comes the 8 million tier. Preston, Unspeakable, and Korix Kenshin all land here. Preston built a Minecraft empire when everyone said the game was dying. Unspeakable turned challenges into a science. Korix Kenshin disappears for months, then returns, and his audience waits patiently, because quality forgives absence. Traditional media demands constant output. YouTube rewards the right output. Lil Nas X sits at $7.8 million, and this placement reveals something crucial. His music career eclipses his content earnings, yet he is still here, because every platform feeds the others. His YouTube presence is not his main revenue stream, but it is the engine keeping his name in constant circulation. Smart creators understand this. Your primary income might come from elsewhere, but content creation is the marketing that never stops working. The 7 million bracket gets interesting. Zach King with his magic vines that went long form, Liza Koshy, who transitioned from Vine to YouTube and then into Hollywood, and David Dobrik, rebuilding after controversy. They prove something uncomfortable. Cancellation is not career death anymore. Audiences have short memories when content stays compelling. The platform cares about clicks, not redemption arcs. Dropping into 6.5 million, you find creators like Tana Mongeau, whose drama becomes content, which creates more drama, which becomes more content. It's a perpetual motion machine fueled by controversy. Emma Chamberlain revolutionized the vlog format, making jump cuts and authenticity the new standard. Jeffree Star turned makeup tutorials into a beauty empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars. YouTube served as the original launchpad. The 6 million tier reveals the power of consistency. Creators here might not dominate headlines, but they dominate schedules. They post regularly, engage constantly, and treat content creation like the full-time job it actually is. Bretman Rock, James Charles, and Nikita Dragon all understand that staying relevant requires showing up even when inspiration doesn't. What's fascinating about the 5.5 to 5 million range is how these creators found angles others missed. Some do commentary on commentary. Others react to reactions. The meta-content game rewards those who can add perspective to what is already being discussed. You don't need original topics anymore. You need original takes on existing conversations. Dropping down to $4.8 million, the creators here prove that medium-sized audiences generate life-changing income. They are not buying sports teams or launching space companies, but they are financially independent, doing exactly what they want. That is the dream most people actually want, stripped of ego and comparison. The 4 million bracket shows something crucial about longevity. Many creators here have been posting for over a decade. They survived algorithm changes, platform shifts, and entire trends rising and falling. The real skill is not going viral once. It is staying relevant while everything around you changes constantly. These creators adapted without losing their core identity. $3.6 million to $3 million represents the sweet spot many creators aim for. Large enough for financial freedom, small enough to maintain direct community connection. They are not managing teams of 50 people. They are running lean operations that generate massive returns. Lower overhead means higher take-home, even with smaller total revenue. Now, watch what happens below $3 million. The earnings remain substantial, but the gap between positions tightens. At $2.8 million, creators are still pulling in amounts that dwarf traditional careers. At $2.5 million, they are living comfortably in expensive cities while working from home. The drop-off is not steep, it is gradual, and that tells you something important about how the platform distributes wealth. The 2 million tier is crowded with specialists, gaming channels that cover specific titles, beauty creators who focus on particular styles, and fitness channels targeting specific goals. They found their niche, and they dominated it completely. Broad appeal might get you to the top 10, but specific expertise can still generate millions. Between 1.8 million and 1.5 million, you find the grinders. Creators post multiple times a week, engage with every comment, and treat their channel like a startup that requires constant attention. Their earnings reflect their effort. This is not passive income. It is active business building that happens to look like entertainment. The 1 million mark remains significant, psychologically, even if earnings at 1.2 million versus 800,000 are not drastically different. Crossing 7 figures in annual income from content creation alone puts you in rare company. Most people never see that number from any source. Below 1 million but above 750,000, the creators here are doing better than they probably imagined when they started. They're not household names, they're not getting recognized at airports, but they're building wealth through consistency and showing up when motivation fades. What connects everyone from position 31 to 50? They found their version of success and built systems to maintain it. They are not chasing the top 10 anymore. They are optimizing their specific situation, their specific audience, their specific content style. That focus creates sustainability. The platform rewards different strategies at different levels. Dominating at the top requires spectacle, controversy, or unprecedented consistency. Thriving in the middle requires specificity, community, and the wisdom to know when enough is actually enough. Most creators burn out chasing higher numbers when their current position already provides everything they actually need. The top 50 creators prove that digital success is not one size fits all. It is about finding what works for your skills, your personality, and your goals, then executing relentlessly until the compound effect takes over. The money follows the audience. The audience follows the value. The value comes from showing up and delivering what you promised, over and over, until suddenly you are the one everyone else is studying. These 50 creators earned a combined $783 million last year. That's more than some countries' GDP. The real lesson isn't in the numbers themselves, but in what they represent. 50 different approaches to the same platform. 50 different definitions of success. 50 proof points that your version of content creation can work if you commit fully. The gap between first and 50th isn't talent. It is strategy, timing, and the willingness to keep going when everyone else quits.